The world I grew up in, you needed permission in order to succeed in the entertainment industry, which led to studios, labels, budgets, and connections. But now, all you need is a phone. The cell phone is the new stage. The game has changed, and I had to change with it. You think you know, but you have no idea. This is Late Bloomer Confessions, episode 14, how the internet changed the game and how we had to adapt. Now, in the old world, when we were first coming up, first starting to learn how to, make music and recording, and we're starting to participate in hip hop. And this time, the goal for a lot of music artists, that were chasing the dream, the ultimate goal was to get a record deal, to get signed. This was our make it to the NBA milestone. This is what so many people saw, that this was the way to get to success as an artist or musician. And if you don't have that, it's sort of like you're just in the middle of the pack. You're just like everybody else. Once you get that record deal, oh, you made it. Now, you know what I'm saying? Everything changes. Your life changes. You become rich and famous. And of course, that couldn't be further from the truth. But that was, from our perspective, how the picture was painted and how we saw it. And, everything just felt so distant, until that happened. The industry just felt so unreachable. These, larger than life figures, seem so far out of reach for the average person or the average artist. And for me personally, though, I'm not the type of person, that chases anything. It was still a hobby for me, even though it's a dream to, chase, and it would be cool if it happened. I wasn't chasing it, but I saw a lot of artists around me, some of which who I knew personally, who I interacted with on a regular basis. They were actually chasing the dream. And some of the things that I saw them and other artists that were doing, or what they were doing, like they would, try to chase the opportunity to get on stage with certain artists and individuals that will come into town, try to sell tickets and, try to meet these people. Once you meet these people, hey, can you listen to my demo, or can you listen to my CD? You know what I'm saying? And I would remember seeing videos of certain artists that would be invited to meetings with certain labels, and they would go into these meetings and they would be told to perform. And they would be performing in these small rooms with like a handful of these record execs and these A&Rs and these people that were in the room with them, just sitting down watching them perform. And it was just like, it was very cringy to me. When you see somebody chasing something, and then the people that they were chasing just looking at them like they were just these monkeys in the zoo performing and dancing for them. It was like, man, I'm not doing that, bro. And it was just a turn off for me. But this is what artists at that time felt like they had to do to make it, until the internet changed the entire landscape of the industry. And on top of the internet came this thing called social media. Now, what social media did, which we didn't realize when it first was introduced to us, What it did was it removed all of the middlemen. It removed the need to have somebody, co-sign you on your behalf. What it did for us, everybody, but musicians and artists specifically, is it gave us access to the entire world. Now you can post your music instantly. You don't have to wait for a record label to sign you and record an entire album, and hopefully, they release you and they push you and they print you on all these CDs and these vinyls, and now you can push your music out to the world. No, all you had to do was record a song. Nowadays, all you have to do is record a song, upload it, hit post. And not only does that give you access to people in your local area, now when you post and you upload music, somebody on the other side of the globe can hear that same song. Now you have access to the entire world. I had people, when I had first started running ads a few years ago, I started gaining notoriety and popularity in South Africa, bro. I'm in America. I'm in Indiana, in Illinois. And there's people who are seeing me every single day in an entirely different continent. This is what was made possible. This is what is still possible today. And this is what changed the entire landscape of the music industry for so many people. And not only that, then chapter 2, AI enters the stage. Now, what did AI do for us? AI, it didn't replace the need for talent. Let's get this straight. AI doesn't create the work for you. Even though some people try, it doesn't necessarily replace the need for you to actually have something to offer, right? What AI does is it's an accelerator. It's sort of like when you hear people say money doesn't change you, it only makes you more of who you are. That is the proper way to look at AI. AI doesn't change what you have. AI simply enhances what you already have. So when it comes to my music, AI allows me to build a system and a strategy behind helping me get my music out to as many people as possible. And us as late bloomers, we benefit the most from this because our time is limited. And what AI does, it minimizes the amount of time for different tasks that are necessary to become successful and to build and to remain. It helps us to remain consistent because we're not these teenagers, like I was saying before in a previous episode, we're not these teenagers who just have this endless amount of time on our hands. When you have an access of something, you lose the sight of the value of what it is. When something is more limited, it becomes more valuable. When something is scarce, it becomes invaluable. So that's what time is for us now as we get older. And here's the truth though. Now that we have social media and the internet, now that we have AI, it gives us access to the world, but that does not replace the need for consistency and the need to still put work in. It still takes time to build. This doesn't equal overnight success. It makes things simpler for us, but that doesn't make it easier, if that makes sense. Now, these algorithms in the social media world, in the social media spectrum, what it does is it rewards repetition. It rewards people who constantly show up every single day, no matter what. Like I said, the systematic approach, like I, spoke about in the previous episode. The social media algorithms actually reward you and put you in front of more people if it sees you consistently showing up, versus somebody who just posts, once a week or once a month or once whenever they feel like it. If the algorithm sees you posting every single day, the algorithm automatically says, wait a second, this person is posting every single day. So now, because all of the algorithm cares about is keeping people on that platform. So if you give it more chances to keep people on the platform and you post every single day, that algorithm now is incentivized to put you in front of more people because it sees you showing up. And that is what you still have to do. What social media allows for is it places you in front of more people than you would physically have access to. So when you do the work, the social media and the AI enhances the work that you have now. It makes you more available to the rest of the world. And this is why in this era, it's so hopeful for us as late bloomers and people who start late, because this is the first era that we've ever lived in, that ever existed, where starting late is not a disadvantage. That actually is an advantage for you, because now it makes you more interesting. Now it gives you a story, a narrative, which, it hooks people in. It makes you an interesting person. It makes people curious to know, okay, what is this about? Why is he so late? Why is he starting? What is the story around this individual? And bam, now, before you know it, now you're building trust over time. This is what I'm doing with the confessions that I am recording, the episodes that I'm recording, the content that I'm making on, Instagram and TikTok and everywhere else, is I'm building trust with you. So now over time, you become familiar with me to the point where you're like, that guy is interesting. I want to know more. I kind of rock with this dude. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of things in common, but that wouldn't happen unless I was showing up consistently and allowing this content and, allowing the algorithms and the AI to put me in front of the right people, which is you. Because otherwise, I would just be posting to nobody. But the fact that you are here now means that the system is working. And the fact that it's working for me means that it can also work for you. And that's where I ask, the question I have for you is, what are you still waiting for permission for? What are you still waiting for that cosign, that, I made it moment? That I need a record deal, or I need to make it to the NBA in order for me to start, or in order for me to feel like, okay, now I have a chance. What if you already had the access to the success, and the only missing piece was you taking action? Because I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying that it's available. And for me personally, I would rather struggle building my gift in this era than spend another decade waiting for permission to. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I drop a new episode every single week. Hit the like button, drop a comment. Let me know what you thought about this episode. And if this resonated with you and you would like to continue the journey with me, the journey of becoming a late bloomer, I have a project that I made exclusively for you and others like you. I only make this available to my late bloomer tribe. No one else has access to this, and no one else probably will never have access to this unless they tap in with me and become a part of my tribe. This project is a narrative, a story of another late bloomer that, waited and waited and waited, but still displayed the fact that it is never too late to use your gift as a purpose. If this interests you, if this piques your curiosity at all, there is a link in the description. Click that link into your information and you will get instant access to this project. And with that being said, my name is Fable Angelo. Until we meet again, I bid you farewell. God bless.